All right, everybody, welcome to our second monthly Mega Agent Monday Mastermind. And just if you're new to the group, this is a reminder, our panelists that are here with us today, and they're going to introduce themselves in a minute, are in a very elite group of Gary's top 100 agents. We have a couple of agents in our own market center that are in that group. And the goal is that you have a place as our top agents, as top agents in the company, to come and ask questions. So as they are speaking today, this is open. You know, if you have a question in that moment, you don't need to wait till the end. Take yourself off mute and say, hey, Irene, tell me a little bit more about this. And then, you know, I'll kind of gauge the time. Yet this is a mastermind. It's open. It's not just our panelists speaking. So if you have specific questions, get ready to direct them. Okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to ask our four panelists to introduce themselves and a couple of things we'd love to know, because the win for us is we are going to get so much information from you. I think last month I took 6 pages of notes. Yet for us, the win is we can't wait to send you referrals. So when this is over, we drop the recording, your service area, your headshot in our private page, so that we can send you referrals and have a win-win relationship. And then also so that you can take your relationship with our agents offline and further develop that. So if you'll tell us your name, the areas that you service, and then also a little bit what's happening in your market. Has it dropped flat? Is it still really hot? Are you still seeing prices increase? Kind of just give us a little 30-second what's happening in your market. So let's start with ladies first. Irene, tell us about yourself, please.
Thank you, Amber. Thanks very much for having me here. Irene Kaushansky from Keller Williams Portfolio Realty in Toronto. Oh yes, there I am. Great picture, thank you. I often am the one lowly Canadian representing our country, so I always feel the onus to do a very good job. I've been in real estate for 31 years, 15 of them with Keller Williams. My husband now works with me, as he has for the last 17 years. We have what I like to call a small but mighty team. There's 7 of us in all, 3 agents and 3 admin, plus my husband, who is the OP of our office, Amber, so you can relate. And we have a sort of a lower unit count every year, but that's because our average price point is quite high. We're typically in the 50 to 60 unit a year range, and our average price consistently has been about 1.3 to 1.4 million. So we're very, very fortunate in that respect. I always make sure that our agents and our team understands that, because for a lot of you in your markets, you have to sell a heck of a lot more homes than we do to hit that volume annually. Our market had a massive peak from January to April of 2022. Then spring slowed down a little bit. Our trough was the fall from September to about December, January. Things started to pick up February, March. April, May, they picked up quite a bit. So we aren't quite back up to the average prices that we saw in spring of 2022, but we're getting there. And we have a considerable amount of competition, homes especially, condos as well. We're back to seeing anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20 offers. It's very inconsistent now, so it's really hard to predict. It's happening across all price ranges. Our biggest gap is in that sort of 1.1 to 1.5 range, but we've seen a number of homes in the $3, $4, $5, $6 million range sell in a matter of hours because the demand is there.
Wow,
It's a very interesting market to be working, for sure.
So the inventory, Irene, is still low.
Extremely.
Wow, that's great. Even in the $3 to $5 million price range.
Extremely. That's why they're going so quickly. I even kind of took my eye off the ball on a listing last week that was 4.899 million on Friday, and by the time we went to book the showing today, it had sold for 4.9.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So we're, again, luxury market. We are seeing a slowdown though in those higher price points. The inventory is starting to build up. Yet pockets are still moving very quickly. All right, James, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi there, James Nellis, out of Alexandria, Virginia. We're a third generation real estate agent, and it's fun to be here. Our local market, we cover the whole DMV, so DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and the DMV has continued to be steady. It's less than 30 days on the market. We like to call it opportunistic. We've had buyers get closing cost help in the last month. We've also seen buyers lose to all cash offers with multiples, even in coming soon. So I would say a lot of it stipulates based off of pricing, as you know, in any market. The sellers that are in the greed mode, we found some of those might sit or languish on the market, or even do price reductions. But if they price it right, we are seeing multiple offers. We're not seeing the $200,000 over as we did before, but we are seeing a still steady offers. And so it's a strong market from that perspective.
Fantastic. Ryan.
Hey, it's Ryan Butler with Coalition Properties Group. We're based out of Washington, D.C., similar to James. We cover the D.C. metro area. That's D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. So just picking off, as far as the market, piggybacking off of James, I think a big part of it is we're seeing a lot of lulls that come for some reason. Like they'll come like a 30-day piece where things just aren't moving as fast. And our metro area is pretty big and diverse from price points to housing types. So even within certain, condos here or townhomes here, new construction might be flying off the market, but these other types of homes might be sitting. So we're seeing a variety based off location and price point. But overall, it's tough to say statistically that we're in a tough market from the sense of days on market is still really low. So
Ryan, do you see the lulls? Because our team talked about this morning, with interest rates pushing 7, we are in a lull currently in Tampa Bay. Do you see a connection between that when the interest rates are moving, that's when your team is feeling it?
Yeah, I think that's when people are feeling it. Also, I think we work with a lot of first-time home buyers, so that could really push someone out of being able to buy a home at all, or having to look at spending more money or buying a smaller home. So you got to deal with that psychological change for people, and sometimes that can take a little bit of time for them to adjust, if they adjust at all.
Ryan, I'm glad we talked about this later. I want to circle back to the conversation we had this morning is that first-time home buyer, it is getting more and more and more challenging for them to jump into real estate ownership. So I'd love to hear later what you were doing for that. Okay, so don't let me forget that. And then lastly, Faiyaz, tell us a little bit about yourself. Oh, did we lose him?
No,
you're on mute.
Sorry. Hey guys, it's Faiyaz Dossaji with Dream Team United. We're located right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina. We're on the border. We have operations throughout the Carolinas. I have 3 expansion operations as well, with plans for more. I've been in the business since 2015. We've had our team since 2018. We have roughly around 37, 38 people on our team. I would say, we've got an ISA department. We've got obviously our virtual assistants. We've got about 16, 17 agents, and then pretty heavy on the admin side as well. Last year, we did around 325 units. So opposite spectrum of Irene, lower price points, more units. And Charlotte as a whole in the market, very solid. I know when the year started, or at the end of last year, Zillow had said that Charlotte was going to be the #1 market in the country. We're certainly seeing a lot of transplants. We've been seeing that since COVID, and we're seeing people from all around the country move here, but especially down the East Coast. Charlotte is the #2 finance hub outside of New York. So that is a value proposition that we have. So you got some money coming in from up and down the East Coast into the Charlotte area. Local market right now, as I mentioned, still good. I would say, like Ryan, he's got the first-time home buyers. Some of your lower price points are a little bit more challenging, actually, just because I think the buyer pool there is being impacted by the interest rates. Meanwhile, some of your upper middle class stuff, multiple offers. You know, so you're here, your 6s, your 7s, your 8s, competitive. So, and in terms of our team, back-to-back record months. This year, this month alone in June, we're going to close around 52 units, which is, we've never hit 50. Usually 40 was a max for us. So we went through the 40s and are over 50 now. So record month for us.
Congratulations. I love it. Congrats. That's exciting. All right. So again, Irene said you've had a good year last month. I love it. I love it. All right. So here's what I'd like to do. Our panelists have an absolute variety of great information, yet they're really specialists in specific topics. So I'd love to open it up by interviewing them on a specific topic. And then I know that all of our panelists probably have something to add and are welcome to do that. So Irene, let's start with you. Okay, ladies first. You talked about having a higher price point and really moving into luxury. So, Irene, how
Amber,
Yeah.
can you start with James, please? I just want to make sure that this little catastrophe that started before we went on doesn't turn into a catastrophe. So
Yes.
I'm going to leave my video on. I'm going to be about 45 seconds before I'm back.
No,
Sorry,
you're
everybody.
good. So just so we all know, in the world of Zoom, when you schedule a delivery outside of the Zoom time frame, they are going to show up during the Zoom time frame. So that's what
the only time. Yeah.
that is what Irene is facing.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. So let's change gears a little bit. Okay. James, when we talked about your bio before starting today, the session you sent it in, it was really focused around developing leads, social media. So share with us a little bit. And I know you have some slides that we can pull up. Talk to us a little bit about where's your best source of leads right now? How are you creating leads for your team?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. So wanted to show you on the screen as well, just so you have some things to take with you. Number one, of course, pay-per-click, right? You can always pay for it. We do that through Google. We used to do it through Facebook. We've just found that Google's a better source. Like Faiyaz, we have ISA team. They're the ones scrolling through. What I've found over time is that my agents, when they get busy, they won't be directly interfacing with the leads. So it was important to have that extra layer rather than just paying for them. And now this is a unique concept that we created years ago. It's called SOI mapping. So sphere of influence mapping. I don't have it in this presentation, but here's what I want you to think about. And I think this, if you get nothing else from today, this could truly expand, maybe even double your business and the way you think about your database. And so if you draw a circle in the middle with you, put out 5 spokes, and in each of those have 5 spheres. Now, out of those 5 spheres, can you go 5 deep? And it is an incredible exercise that we do with our agents every year. And what I realize is the typical real estate agent has no more than 3 spheres that they can go 5 deep on as far as influencers, referrals, and all of that. And so SOI mapping within your database is huge.
James, question real quick. If I'm doing, so let's say I put me in the middle and I'm drawing 5 spokes off, would that be like one of them is soccer community, another one?
Yeah, absolutely. Could be church, could be family, could be alumni. I was at an alumni event this last weekend. So, and then within that, for instance, for myself, I love to play sports. So volleyball is always one, and I can go back to at least 30 transactions just from volleyball, right? So can you go 5 deep in it? And the fun way to do this, Amber, is you vet it every quarter to just make sure, is this a good silo? Is this a good pillar for where I can lead generate? And you might go half a year and say, wait a second, from this one charity or from this school or whatever it is, I can't show anything. Then it's time to move and replace that one.
So it's 5 closings that you can identify from this.
From each of those. So it's 5 spheres, and underneath that sphere, can you go 5 deep? Now, if you're brand new to the business, you can't go 5 deep. So the question is, do you know 5 people or influencers that could send you business? And so it's a huge opportunity for many people to relook at what their database is and how it's serving them when it comes to lead generation. Of course, networking falls into that. So you might be in it for 3 or 4 years and say, you know what, I've exhausted my database. I'm not seeing business come to me. Then it's a matter of, are you in the right place at the right time? Years ago, we used to have all of our agents get on meetup.com. Is Meetup big down there in Florida? Do they have that? So meetup.com. And then the challenge is this: we used to register for three groups with the idea that you're going to meet at least once or twice a month. Now we realize you have to sign up for at least 10 groups to get that face-to-face. And the beautiful part about that, it's the only one that drives people back to face-to-face. Now you'll see on here a map and also one of our happy hours. We had to get creative because here's the challenge. I live in Alexandria, Virginia, but we also serve Frederick, Maryland. We also serve Fredericksburg, Virginia, places you might not have heard of. And the challenge was, somebody moves there, when they see me post about being in DC or being in Alexandria, they might think, you know what, well, does James really serve this area anymore? So because we have such a large footprint, we say, you know what, rather than just one client event a year, we can't solve it that way. We're going to go into the community, into a local bar or a local park. Last summer, we did picnics. This year, we're doing happy hours. And it's just been fun for people to feel like they can go to their local place and see the Nellis group. And that's a huge, if you're listening to this and you cover a large area, I highly encourage you to think about a monthly event in that community, in that city, so it continues to resonate with all of your database. Oh yeah, you know what? He still covers this area. They still cover this area. Now, here's what's fun. We've been doing online contests for years, really decades, to where we bring people back to our website, back to registration. And this is fun. When people move out of our market, we don't lose touch with them because we still keep them on a feed for our online contests, for birthdays, for March Madness tournaments, like all these things that you can do online, Mother's Day, Father's Day, right? Fun things like that. And then I didn't want to leave this part without talking about wealth portfolio, which we'll of course talk about wealth building. I know Ryan's going to share some of that. One of the best things you can do is go back through your database and offer everyone an update for their wealth portfolio, for their real estate asset that they own. And I think this is a huge mistake that many agents make, is they think, oh, well, you know what? They just bought 2 years ago. They're not going to sell. I'm going to focus on the 5 to 7 or the 10 plus years. This is, and I want everyone to hear this, this is an interesting time where it's not time, it's equity. There are many people selling today that have owned for less than 3 years because of the equity or the appreciation they've seen, where it could have taken 3 to 4 more years in a typical market. I hate to say this, I like to say I'm successful in everything. We literally just found out that someone sold without us. It hurts to say, and they had owned it for less than 2 years. So they wouldn't have even been on my radar. They bought in 2021. They wouldn't have been someone that I said, hey, are you thinking about selling? So by offering this every year to all of your database and at least your top 100 or top 200, it gives you a great opportunity to still be that advocate and that expert in front of them, and get them excited about sharing what it could be. If you wanted to see an example of our website or how we send people there, it's there on the screen, nellisgroup.com, happy hour. And that just gives them an idea. And I wanted to share one other thing without monopolizing the time, is this. This is a big miss by many agents. Vendor reciprocity. So we typically track at least for every 5 that we give to one of our vendors, we want at least 1 referral back. You know, don't you love when you talk to a title company or a lender or whoever it is, like, oh, well, you know, James, they come to me second or third, like they never come to me first. Okay, fine. But what about their own database, their own sphere? And so when we started doing this, it was huge. The first year I did this with one of our lenders, we got 6 closed transactions just from that conversation. We do
From
with
the one?
from just one lender. We do with our financial advisors. We do it with anybody that we proactively send business to. We expect that reciprocal process of them sending us business back. We meet with them quarterly, and it's fun because it's rare you have to meet with them more than twice to start this. We call it positive peer pressure. So when I meet with you, Amber, and I'm like, hey, Amber, we source everything, and over the last quarter, I actually don't see one transaction from you. However, it looks like we've sent you 15 people.
Oh,
And so it's just a fun, you got to be fierce conversations, right? You got to be willing to have these fun conversations. First time Amber's going to say, oh, well, you know, James, I know. Great, Amber. How about I follow up next quarter? I meet with you again. If I meet with you the second quarter and you now like, wow, they're going to actually hold me to this by the third quarter. If you're not sending us people consistently, then we're taking you off the list. Now, here's one fun extra ad. I actually had an accountant tell me, James, I don't even know how to do that. So my question to each of you, have you adequately informed your vendors how they can send you business? From one of my financial advisors, he said, well, I got a checklist of 20 questions I ask every onboarding client. I said, great. Do you ask them about their wealth portfolio for their real estate asset? And do they own any properties locally or out of state that they're interested in selling? He goes, no, I guess I should add that, right? So he added that, and we started sending or seeing referrals from it. So just being, top of mind is a great opportunity to really get a buildup of business that you're not having to pay extra money for.
I love that. And you know what I think is beautiful? I think about our Y4C2Ts often as like my lens, and what a win-win right there. You're saying to them, hey, we've sent you 15, we've sent you 30. Okay, where's the other win? And then the other part of that is you actually just made that financial advisor a much better advisor, because he obviously wasn't really, connecting them as he could have for the customers to build their wealth portfolio. So it was a win across both boards. Hey, I'm curious on the wealth portfolio, when you are having that conversation with your database, what does it sound like? What are you asking them?
Yeah, it's the simplicity of, hey, Amber, the market has had its own trajectory. Would you like to sit down? We actually always offer to come to their house or sit at a local coffee shop, but can I come and see anything you've done to the home? Well, James, I haven't touched it. Would you like to know, without touching your home, what it's worth today versus what it was last year? It was funny. The agent I got this from, Amber, was in Denver years ago. And I said, well, what do you do when the market's down? Like, that's an awkward call, isn't it? Like, your home's worth less than what you paid for it. She goes, what does your financial advisor do? They blame the market. I was like, well, okay, I guess you have that option. But the point is, you always have to be in their forefront to say, hey, this is what your home is worth. And so the conversation is just simply this, Amber, is, would you like an update for your real estate property as part of your wealth portfolio so you can properly plan with your financial advisor this next year? Right.
I love it.
If you did it last year, then I'm going to say, you know what, Amber, we've actually seen some appreciation in the market. I know you're not interested in selling this year, but would you like an update on what your home is worth if you had to put it on today? And it's very rare someone says no to it. Now, when we offer to meet with them, I would say probably only about 30% say, yeah, come to my house. Others will say, could you just give me an estimate knowing that I haven't done any work to it? Sure. And I will tell you this, a lot of times we get conversations where they're like, you know what, James, I'm actually like 2 years out. And so this is a different program I didn't plan on talking about, but if you want to generate listings at a high level, we have one this Thursday. We got a client that they're 3 years out. There's no limitations on when you can take a listing. So we'll take listings that are 2 or 3 years out all day long. Because what I found out when I was younger in the business is if you contacted me, I would give you resources. I would walk you through it, and then all of a sudden I'd find out what? Oh, well, we're going with so-and-so because of And so now we call them archived listings. So if you're 2 years out, Amber, and you want stylistic design options and what happens in the market, great. We'll meet with you. You'll sign an agreement with us. And we know that you're archived for 2 years or 3 years from now. So that's just kind of a little tweak that I hope everybody makes to their own business. So you're not in a position like I was early in the business where they call me up. And they're like, oh, you know what? Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for sending a designer 2 years ago. We actually went with somebody else. So
James, I'm curious on that because I used to do in special terms, I'd sign the listing and then I'd say something about it not being in effect for 2 more years. You can cancel at any point. Do you charge them a cancellation fee or anything like that for the archive long?
Yes, we do have a cancellation fee.
Okay.
And what we tell them is all you're saying is that when you are ready to market and sell the home, you're going to use the Nellis group. And our cancellation fee, I think, is very moderate compared to others, but it's $1,495. So $1,495 is our cancellation fee. And that little fee alone has saved thousands of dollars on commissions, right? The other tweak that we do is we actually, and of course, check with your broker, check with your attorney, I'm not them, is we say 6 months from entry in MLS. So years ago, I had a divorce, and this happens a lot, right? In divorce, one chose you, the other one didn't. So one's a little hostile. And they called me up after 6 months And they're like, hey, the wife did. She's like, hey, James, thanks so much for your help. We're going to go with XYZ Realty. I go, well, that's great, but I don't think you're at your 6 months yet. She's like, oh no, we signed 6 months ago. But remember, I was like, well, actually, you took 3 months to go on the market. Short answer is we sold that property a week from then, but I never would have had that commission had I not written that into the agreement. So especially if you work with divorce, which we do, that's one of our specialties, especially if you're working where there's multiple parties involved, make sure you've protected yourself, because it could take 2 or 3 months just to get to market.
So I'd love to open this up for all of our panelists. Google. Okay, James talked about Google being a little bit more powerful right now than Facebook or other PPCs. What are you doing? So Ryan, Faiyaz, Irene, anyone, how are you leveraging Google or PPC in any way?
We aren't. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
We're doing the same thing with James. I mean, as you mentioned, we have a pay-per-click with Google AdWords. We have an inside sales department just like his. So, you know, we realized that the agent follow-up just wasn't that great. And so we're spending all this money on lead generation, but you know, if the follow-up isn't there, then leads are falling through the pipeline. And so that's been obviously a big lead generation platform for us. We're also, you know, we get a lot of agent referrals. Surprisingly, that's a huge part of our business. Last year, 20% of our closed units, so that was 81 units came from that. This year, we'll probably hit maybe 100 units coming just from agent referrals. And that's just
can we sit there for a minute? Because like your area, Florida, people are moving here. So that agent to agent referral opportunity is huge. How do you capitalize on that? What recommendations can you make for Naples and Marco agents to get those relationships, stay in touch? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's a people to people kind of business relationship. So I'm very purposeful in that. I'm really good at the business networking side of things. I'm making sure that my relationships are strong. For example, James has sent us a referral before, and this is the first time I've ever actually face-to-face been with him because we're on social media quite a bit. Ryan has sent us a referral before because, and again, this is all coincidental that we're all on the same call because we're in a metrics masterminding group together, and he knows how I run my business, and I'm happily to send him one as well, and James as well. And Irene, I know through other networking opportunities that we've been in the same room in family reunion or mega camp or whatnot. So I still go to these events. I still am making sure that people know about us and our business. You know, I'm not, my team and myself, we're not the same people that we were 5 years ago. So I'm constantly in front of people to make sure that they know who we are and what areas that we can serve them. So that's just, it's labor intensive. It can be exhausting, but the results are that. I mean, it is 30% of our business right now. Yes, there's a cost of sale to it, but when there's so many people moving to whether it's Florida or Georgia or wherever, I don't care. That's low hanging fruit. Someone's going to get that business. Yes, there's probably a 25% referral fee or 30% referral fee that you're going to have to pay, but that business is going to someone. It might as well be us. How
do you reward your referring agents?
Well, we sent out $187,000 worth of referral business outgoing last year. I mean, so that's one of the things that I mean, I can't guarantee you that I'm going to close your business, but sending out a check in the mail is one way, right? I mean, to know that we've all sent out referrals and they've gotten lost in the ether, right? And you have no idea what happened to it. And that's frustrating. We're not perfect by any sense of the imagination, but we have a system in place. We use Brivity as a CRM. We have a process in place from start to finish where the agent is made sure that they're made aware of what's going on through that process. That's one thing that we implemented because we'd felt the pain on the other side.
Let me jump in for Faiyaz, ask him a question. Social media, and I know you're a big presence there. When you're the name and there's 30 other names, help these agents where if there's multiple, how do you still get the referral?
I'm picking up that phone. I'm still deep in this. Like, I might not sell as many units, but I'm still one of the conduits for the relationship building. Like, I want that referral partner to talk to me, and I'm gonna sell my team. Like, listen, I have amazing agents on my team because they're really that good. And I'm gonna make sure that either the client is a great personality fit, maybe it's a geographical expertise, maybe it's an industry area kind of expertise. So I like to make sure that the agent who is referring the buyer or the seller is in alignment with the agent on my team. And I'm usually the one, at least for right now, that is making that relationship happen. I want them to be comfortable. And, you know, a lot of times agents are like, well, I want you to handle it. When I'm like, I'd love to do that, but do you want the best service, or do you just want my name on it?
Yeah.
I like that.
We
Yeah.
typically ask, just one second, then Irene, to you. I will typically, so the leads pretty much come in through me, and then I will say, you know, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the opportunity. We cannot wait to service your referral. Describe their personality a little bit for me. Would you say they're like a driver? Are they super detailed and analytical? Because, you know, we have 3 buyers agents that are very, you know, unique, and I want to make sure that we match them with the perfect agent. And that has gone a long way. Often people will say, no one's really ever asked me that. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. I do the same exact thing. And James, like you were saying, if someone is very insistent on me working the deal, yes, I will do it. But I think a lot of times it's like, listen, I'm going to be lying to you. If you want me to lie to you to earn your business, then I'll say, yeah, okay, cool, give it to me. Right. But at the level that sometimes that some of us are, it's like, well, I have a buyer's agent who's actually better than me in this specific area, or a listing agent who's better than me in this specific area. I can absolutely work the drill, but I want your client to get the best service. And I'd be lying to you if I told you that it's going to be me for this specific situation.
I love it. Irene,
I would say that you probably want to so they've said great things. So to give you a little wrinkle, I would start before the referral is sent. So it's just like anything else where you have a 36 touch, you have a program, you need to have a communications plan. So if you want to be known on that group to get the referrals, then you need to have a communications plan with that group. And that can be off a lot of what James and Faiyaz is saying. It's like, that's off market or offline, but you also, if they don't know you at all, you want to get online and let them know, whether they're sending them value regularly, you know, a couple times a month, showing what you've done with the other referrals that have been sent, because people want to send referrals to you, but they want it to send it to someone that's going to close it, right? So like knowing the results of the referral sent and that it actually closed is like a really important kind of landmark there. Like, oh, they actually closed these deals, so that's fantastic. I heard about them, but like there's some people who are good that don't close the deals, right? Because they're good agents on maybe understanding the market and understanding the sales, but they couldn't connect really well with the referral that was given. So just kind of having that like emotional intelligence about it to be and then the actual follow-up. So the follow-up and connect with the person that's being sent over, I think is really, really important, and connecting with the agents in general. So you're known. We know that in marketing, like you don't have to actually be the best. You just got to be the most well-known. Right. Like
Right.
if you're the most well-known, you will sell more houses than people who are, you know, how many times, like when you're selling, you're like, I'm 10 times better agent than that guy. Right. But that person markets way more and way more often than you do. So they're going to get more opportunities than you.
I think it's also, it's a different, you got to flip the thinking on its head. And this happened to me like 2 years ago. You know, in our business, like our clients are still the ones that are buying, selling, and investing. But for me specifically, because I'm the agent referral like conduit, my clients are the agents, the referral agents. If I take amazing care of them, there's a pipeline of business that will always kind of be there, right? So I look at the company like, how can we help our referral partners better? They're my clients.
That's good. So do you send value out? Oh, sorry, Irene. Do you send value out to them? You know, when you say take care of them?
Yeah, I mean, we can do like little gifts and things like that. We're always like making sure they're always in one of our mailing lists. And also like I personally keep in touch with them. It's part of my job to, like, as Ryan was saying, like just to make sure that communication is always happening, that they don't know I don't want them to think that this is a one-off kind of relationship, right? They send a referral and that's it. They get a check and that's it. One of the things that we ask for them is if they're happy with us, we ask them to leave a review in addition to the client. So that's helping James's, pay-per-click kind of situation as well. Our Google reviews keep going up with agents also focusing on that. We also ask them to talk in their market center about us as well, if there's anyone like that. So in fact, I just got a text message from someone in Atlanta and they're like, hey, there's an agent in our office who's looking for someone. Do you serve that area? I said, yes. And that just came through just now.
I love it. You know
So
what?
you get advocates in other market centers who are then looking out for your geographical area.
That's awesome. I love the agent who sent the referral, because I think from, speaking for Florida agents, we do a lot of that referral business. And, honestly, I have not asked the referring agent to do a referral or to do a review as well. I love that. Irene, I've cut you off. We all have, so forgive me.
That's okay. Just, I don't want to be repeating anything that you guys said, because so much of what you've said we do. So a few things. We've actually had referring or referral agents do a video testimonial for us that we have then put it into our out of area agent communication. So we don't send our listings. We have a complete separate database for out of area agents. We don't send them our listings. We don't send them our open houses. We send value. This is the contest that we did. This was our results. Let us know if you want our playbook. This is what we're working on. You may want to R&D this for your clients. So it's a completely different way of staying in touch, because they don't care about the 7 steps that they need to take to sell their house, which is what I receive of a lot. And,
Oh yeah.
I guess it's better than nothing, but it's not that great. The other thing, just to touch on systems, we have 2 different referral checklists, and one of them is for clients who refer us business, and one of them is for agents. So anytime we get an agent referral, we have the exact same system that we follow, and we ensure that we keep the agent in the loop, because like Faiyaz said, there's nothing worse than not knowing what's happening with your referral. It's a very, very deliberate communication, and it's a lot more than Facebook fan groups.
So tell us this, because I love this. The checklist, if you have a past client or customer that refers you someone, what, Irene, would be on that checklist that all of us, could implement today if we got a referral?
Oh, for clients, an email the minute somebody reaches out, then that's followed up right away with some kind of little gift card, Starbucks or home, like something that's more local. If I know that they like pets, I'll send them a PetSmart gift card. Then as soon as I connect with the client, whether it's on the phone or email, I will call them, thank them again. And just even if something doesn't work out, like when I send them the thank you, I write, hopefully by the time you get this, I will have connected with Amber. So they know that I don't even know what's going on yet. I'm just rewarding the behavior of the referral, because we don't want people to qualify price, location. James talked about working in different towns. Toronto is so big that we probably have as many neighborhoods as you guys have, sort of abutting towns. So I don't want anybody to ever censor anything that they're sending us.
I love it. So you are going to love on them, an email, a little handwritten note, gift card. What else do you do for a customer? Because I think about keeping agents who refer us business up to date, yet I don't always keep another customer up to date. What else beyond that do you do?
Yeah, important points in the transaction. Hey, just to let you know, we're still looking, or we found a place. They put an offer in, they got beat out, but just so you know, we're taking great care of them. If it's a listing, hey, watch your emails. We're putting James's property on the market next week. You can get to see everything. So just little periodic, not every single activity, because that would be boring and they don't need to know that, but just for them to understand that you're taking care of the person they sent you. And sometimes they say, you know what, we talk almost every day, so they're telling me what's going on. You don't have to worry, you're doing a great job.
That's awesome. And that gives them the warm fuzzies that you're
Yeah.
connecting them to this customer and opportunity that you have. I love that.
Yeah.
Irene, can we take a minute? I know you kicked us off with a higher price point. Well, that is our cup of tea. So one of our market centers, the average sale price is about $1 million and the other is about 700,000. So, what do you do to win more market share with luxury customers right now? What are you doing that works?
Well, for us, our luxury sort of is in the 3 to 4 million and up range. And in fact, in some neighborhoods, that's just a nice house. It's not necessarily a luxury property. So really just creating our branding to focus on the luxury experience. But we also, in all of this, Amber, we really need to make sure, and we've lost a lot of very regular business before we switch to this. So we want to make sure that we're not alienating lower price points, because we're not going to be turning down the $800,000 or $900,000 condo, which, for us isn't luxury. I know in some of your markets it is, but for us, that's a bit of a starter condo. So we don't want, again, not censoring, we don't want people to not send us that business if they think it's too low a price point. So it's a really delicate balance. We have to present our marketing in a way that will highlight luxury properties, and at the same time, make sure that we are still promoting our other listings in the same way, maybe not on the same scale. Maybe we won't do as many, videos or drone footage, but definitely making sure that we have all of that covered. And as everybody's been mentioning, it is networking, it's relationships. We on the Toronto Real Estate Board now have, I think it's over 70,000 licensed realtors.
Wow.
Yeah, in all of the Toronto Real Estate Board. Now, of course, more than half of those don't do one deal a year, and then about another 25%, so 50% of that probably does 5 or less. So there are a lot of part-time agents and agents that have a license and can sell but shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important for us to educate all of our clients to the difference between service levels and the type of realtors that are out there.
Do you have a different name? Like this is the collection, the luxury portfolio, so you don't distinguish between the two. Okay. And what type
it's hard for us, right? Like would our threshold for luxury, our KWRI threshold for luxury is 1.9 million, because that just happens to be what the numbers say. But for us, it's the reality is in Toronto, it's hard to even find a move-up home for that price. So it's a very difficult distinction, and we've talked about it in the past and just decided that it wasn't going to work, not for us.
I can get you about 4 homes
something.
for 1.9 million in Charlotte. Y'all come on down.
I love it. We can give you a portfolio for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kim just added something. I love it. She said, I always say that I offer luxury experience at
Yes.
all price points.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
So what else are you doing? So Irene, how do you maybe market differently, or what specifically are you doing to continue to grow your market share in the 2 million and higher price point?
Well, a few things. Networking and relationships is certainly number one. I still do a ton of door knocking, and I was just having this discussion in one of my other mastermind groups last week. People tend to shy away from knocking on the door of a very high-end property, but it's those people, if you can get the people at the door, of course, and not works there. Those people are the ones that appreciate hard work and will really put a lot of value in the fact that I'm pounding the pavement, literally.
What do you say at the door, Irene?
Well, I will always go either around a new listing, a new sale, or where I really have a buyer. So I wouldn't really just come up and say, hi, do you want to sell your house? So it really has to be for a specific reason. And if I really do have a buyer, I will outline what it is that they're looking for so that the homeowner knows that it's legit and I'm not just spinning a story to try and get a listing.
Mm-hmm. And what does that, so let's say you have a specific buyer and it is in that neighborhood. I mean, I don't know about you guys. We are at the place where we are working to create inventory because it just doesn't exist. So what do you say if you have those 7 or 8 different factors of the buyer? What would you say at that door? So it doesn't sound made up.
I would quickly describe the clients, the buyers, and tell them what they're looking for. And I will generally make some kind of light of the question. I'll say, can I do anything? Can I convince you to sell your house? Or is there a price, more seriously, is there a price at which you consider selling your house? Because these folks are really motivated and interested.
So you go right in for it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's not the, hi, how are you? Oh no, it's, I'm Irene. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. I have a buyer. Who do you know? Or it's very, very short, don't say blah, blah, blah when blah will do. Right. We just sold your neighbor's house. We had 7 offers. We have 6 people who'd like to move into the neighborhood. I don't suppose I could talk you into moving out of it, can I? And that typically gets them laughing, and it really breaks the ice. Sometimes they stop because they don't know that it's a joke. It takes them like a second or two, and then they laugh. I said, yeah, that's not typically what you'd expect to hear from a realtor, is it?
I love it.
So really just try and lighten the situation and get people talking.
Irene, have you taken bold?
4 times.
Okay, I was going to say, because I saw the head shaking, you're nodding, soft closes. I love that. And the other thing is, you made me think of a bold law: change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And you said in that higher price point, they appreciate the hard work. I think sometimes our limiting beliefs get the worst of us and hold us back. And I love that in that higher price point, they appreciate the hard work, because not all of them are trust fund babies, and they did something to get there.
Exactly. Yes, they got themselves there, and they know what it took.
That is
and
huge.
They're certainly more up to date and up to speed on the real estate market and what it would take in today's market to be a success. So it's definitely worthwhile.
I love that. Hey, Ryan, I'm going to jump to you. Talk to us a little bit about wealth building. And before we get into that, I mean, you in your bio talked about syndications and, brokering over 500 million in real estate, joint ventures. You really see real estate as a vehicle for wealth building, as we all should. Okay. So talk to me, how are you helping others open their mind and build wealth in real estate? And then I do want us to get back to that. The first time home buyer, how are we getting them into the action in real estate?
Okay, well, I'll answer the first time home buyer one first, since they're first. So in our area, we have a lot of first time home buyer programs. So we really lean on those. I mean, it can be a lot of money, like seriously, like a couple $100,000 type a lot of money. So the first time home buyers, we're leaning on the first time buyer programs. We have programs like Maryland Mortgage Program, DC Open Doors. So those are like location specific programming. But in the end, I think it's also helping people understand that FHA 3.5% down, like you can do that. In our areas, you can get a conventional loan for 5% down on it under a certain price point, or even 3% down, right? Or using a national program like NACA, which is National Association Corporation of America, NACA.com. And that program, pain in the butt program, great product. But the product is great. It's the best product in the country. I don't know if, outside of like maybe a VA loan. It's no down payment, no closing costs, and usually the interest rate is lower than whatever the current interest rate is, like a 1/4 point, 1/2 point. So for those who are kind of buying more moderate price properties, that makes a lot of sense. If you're in a luxury market, I mean, they're bringing a little bit more money anyway. So to the wealth building, I'll tell you a small story. The whole reason I ended up in this situation is that after a couple of transactions with clients, I found that they didn't want to buy any more real estate, but they still wanted to invest in real estate, and they didn't want to manage it themselves. And so what we started doing was a 5-year plan for clients. And this starts from your very first property. And so you buy and we tell them this on the consultations. So you buy a property, right? On your initial buyer consultations, we say, hey, look, this is your first property, but we want to put a 5-year real estate plan in place for you. And a 5-year real estate plan. And then we show examples of our clients who've bought anywhere from 3 to 7 units in like, a 3 to 5 year span. So we show them that this is actually possible. We have proof that it's been done. And so you can do it too. And so this is a way for them to stay interested in real estate longer versus you buy your home and then you disappear for 5 years,
I love that.
Yeah, we try to get them to be involved. Basically try to get people to look at buying homes every 2 years.
So is that really the focus of your social media communication? How do you keep this topic about your 5-year real estate plan top of mind for people?
Well, we're events-based marketing, so we just have a lot of events, and we have a lot of if you've seen our social media, most people want to come to our parties. So we say we just happen to we throw parties. We just happen to sell real estate, and so a lot of our people come to all our events. I mean, our last brunch we had almost 400 people there. So
wow.
these are really large events, and doing there it's nothing but energy around real estate, right? Because most of these people are past clients. So these are past clients or someone that they brought who's like, you should meet these guys. It's time for you to get a home too, and kind of creating that, cyclical energy around real estate.
How do you get 400 people at a brunch?
Yeah, we call them and text them and email them. We do an 8x8 basically before and after the event. So we let people know ahead of time that it's coming. Oh, and then actually people pay to come to our brunches. It's not free. So the clients actually come to our events and they pay to come.
I literally haven't gotten an invitation yet.
You didn't bring enough money, man. You didn't sign up. It was a sign-up sheet. You just had to pay your money and come. And that's all you had to do.
Are there mimosas at the brunch?
Oh yeah, this is open bar typically. Food. I mean, it's a thing. It's an experience. It's what we call it. It's an experience. And so we do that, but our mission statement is to be the bridge to our community for all things real estate, lifestyle, and wealth building. So that's just one pillar. That's the lifestyle piece. And then the real estate piece is kind of like how you get into our world. And people want to be a part of our world because they see the lifestyle and the wealth building too. So they're like, a lot of agents bring the real estate, but are they bringing the lifestyle and wealth building? And
so
then
to be the bridge to the community, I'm sorry, Ryan, to be the bridge to the community in all things
real estate, lifestyle, and wealth building. So that is our mission statement, and we preach that. We live by that drives and starts all of our conversations. So if it doesn't fit in there, what are we doing, guys?
Well, that's it. That's like your priority pyramid. And you just said, if it doesn't fit in there, we're not doing it. So I love your event. That's the lifestyle piece. And then we're talking about NACA because we're helping with wealth building. I love that you have that as the gauge of whether or not that fits with what we do.
Yeah. And then the wealth building kind of starts with, again, putting in the 5-year plan. And then after that, what we found is like people still needed some place to put their money. So we started buying apartment buildings with our clients, basically. So we've bought, at this point, I've bought 250 units over the last couple of years. And I just closed on the 29 unit on Friday. And for that, a bunch of our clients wanted to put their money involved. They're like, we got clients that might sell a property and they move overseas, but they want to invest in America still, right? So what are they going to do? They don't want to buy another property because there's so much like headache to deal with a property, like when you're not just absentee, like next state or even across country, like you're on the other side of the world, right? So those things are a little bit more difficult for people, and some people want to do it and some people don't. So we just want to give you options, whichever route you want to take.
I love that. Is a lot of that the military influence in the area? People are moving across country, or
no? DC is just a transient place. I mean, it's people that move in and out. It's the capital of the most powerful country on this world. So like people want to get there, and some people still have to leave for jobs and stuff. So
I love it. Well, what I would love to do, first of all, I mean, page after page after page, which, I'm sorry guys to do this. I've already written all the things I'm inviting you back to a team meeting to teach on, because you each do really specific things. So, first of all, thank you. I'd like to open it up. We just have a couple of more minutes. Do any of our audience, I think Kim sold about 30 million. Denny last year did about 300 units. Anybody that's on here has questions for our Rockstar panelists. And while you are coming off mute to ask any questions, for the four of you, any words of wisdom, parting advice that you'd like to share with our group today, maybe around the market or mindset? I feel like a lot of my conversations now are around mindset with a interesting market. Any last minute thoughts you could share with us?
Yeah, let me see if I can build off of what Ryan just said, which I think this is a piece that a lot of agents miss. One, you can invest in your local market. Ours is a higher price point as well. So I was forced to find, 1% or 8 to 10% cap rate throughout the country, because I would have clients come to me and say, I've got 20,000, 50,000. What can I do with it? In DC, I'm like, well, nothing. So we had to find properties where they could own their own asset. And so we've continued to find different states and different cities. I always invest there first, but it's a great opportunity to do agent to agent business and keep sending people there. We do a 3-year agreement with that agent that if they buy anything within 3 years, or multiple properties, that will get paid on that referral. The other thing that I think many agents miss is your own money at work. So hard money lending to your own clients, which helps them go from point A to point B. So there's been multiple transactions that would have failed if I didn't have the private financing for them, where they didn't need the down payment from their home. They didn't need a bridge. They didn't need this or that. I still make money on it. And then we've put together capital where other people are doing flips. I've done my own flips, but where our clients can get anywhere from 10 to 12% return on their money. And that's been a huge add. And we've seen a lot of clients love that, of course, and build in their own wealth.
James, I love that our team leader, Erica, dropped in. So which of you four are expanding to Naples and Marco Island? Oh, good. We're already in on that. Fantastic. And James, what a massive amount of value, because 1% is very challenging here. And yet there are places that you can find that. And I think sometimes selfishly we think, well, why would I do that? Because it's not my service area. And yet that 3-year protection is a win-win-win-win-win, providing value. I love it. What else? Questions for our panelists or last minute thoughts from our rock stars?
I think it's like really important right now. I mean, we've been talking about it for about 2 years, but we're really focusing on the basics. We're just not trying to complicate the formula. I think sometimes when agents of our size get up on panels, I try to put myself in the seat of someone who's a single agent or just getting started. In the end, all of us really just focus on the basics or what we're really, really good at over the years, right? We don't have like 10, 20 things that we really like spread ourselves too thin on. James has his thing, Ryan has his thing, Irene has her thing, and I have mine, and just focus on that. If you literally took away all of my lead generation levers, I could still individually go do the basic stuff and myself go sell 20 to 40 homes a year. Like, it doesn't have to be who has the best website, who has the slickest this, and who has the coolest that. In the end, it's like Irene doing the door knocking, or, these guys who are doing their community-based events and things like that. It's what's 1 or 2 things that you're really good at and focusing on that.
I love that. Well, panelists, thank you so much for joining us today. So this gets recorded and shared with about 400 agents between our 2 market centers. So we will put your bios up, your service areas, and then I can't wait to invite you back to maybe just do a quick 20-minute Q&A in one of our team meetings around some of these great topics that are, as Faiyaz just said, you're like specific area that you specialize in. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.